On this portion, we are going to continue creating the second feature by selecting the new sketch on the right face of this existing feature. So we begin with the line. Again, we connect to the origin and we draw a center line. And we try to snap the center line to the midpoint and then add the center line option. As you notice, this line is created on the side plane, on the side, the face of this right portion of this, and that we're going to begin with the circle tool, and circle is going to be perfectly, the center of this circle should be aligned with the center line. In case we miss, we can come back and always add with the constraint. And we begin with the line tool and add that relation as necessary, and we create the shape the best we can, not to worry to be exact size, and all the shapes just should look pretty much similar but not exact. Always we do the rough sketch, and we will come back and add necessary dimension to constrain them. First, we begin with adding the relations, tangent relations between the circle and line. Next, we are going to add all the other necessary dimensions. And our goal is to fully define these sketches as always. And all the information is given here. We will add all those necessary dimensions, 2 inches height, and we begin giving the other necessary dimensions, such as location of this arc or circle to the top portion is given 1. We cut that extra piece of that line using the trim command, and now we're going to add other dimensions as required. If you refer to your project sheet, you will see that the center to center is also aligned. Here we added the vertical relations, and we will begin adding more dimensions. In this case, one from the center line. If you select the center line again, we get the full width of the top upper portion, which is 2, and again it's giving us 2 the total rather than half because we picked the center line. We repeat the same process for the bottom portion of this profile, again dimensioning from the end point to the center line. And again, notice gives us 3 rather than 1.5, which would have been otherwise. And of course, we need to define that baseline to be exactly half of 3 inches, which would be 1.5. That gives us symmetrical feature here. Symmetrical, both sides are the same, so 1.5, 1.5. So now, according to status bar, we have one more dimension needed. That's most likely because we haven't moved this to exact position. It's not constrained yet. So we will do the mirror first, and we add all the feature select all the features that's supposed to be mirror around the center line as a mirror line. Apply, and now we finish the mirror. Next we come back to trim that extra piece of the circle, and now we are going to move this entire profile to be lined up with our existing feature. By using the collinear, we can select the edge of this feature by edge of the new sketch. Now as you see, sketch is fully constrained. We've finished this sketch, and now we will extrude this changing the direction. And since we typed 3 for the extrude height last time, it's still showing there. We need to change them back to 1 in this case. Extrude height 1 and change the direction. And now we have completed this portion. On this part, we're going to create the left side of this feature by using the 3D mirror. And 3D mirror would allow us to duplicate exactly what we did rather than repeating the entire feature, which in this case we can select directly from the part or from the browser, selecting extrude 2. And then of course we need to define what is our mirror plane. In this case we select that plane that relates to that mirror plane. In this particular case we expand origin. There's a little plus sign next to origin, then select the YZ plane. In this case, as you see, YZ plane is our mirror plane. By selecting that, you can see your preview on the green on the left, so it's correct, and then accept them by saying OK. And now we have duplicated that exact same thing on the left side. Next, as you see here, we can show the plane for more visual aid, as you can display that by saying visibility is on, and you can right click again, turn them off as you need. Now we rotate this to see the bottom piece, so we can select, can use orbit to rotate, or hold shift and left click on your pointing device, and then select the bottom piece as a work plane, new work plane. We begin with the circle and snap to the origin. That's the advantage of having the extrude both directions, gives us the origin in the center. This makes it easier for constraining the object quicker and faster, and that's fully constrained. Extrude boss, if you could do your calculation on the handout sheet, you see the 0.75 is our extrude height in this case, and we accept that 0.75, and then on the same face, on the same face of the circle, we create another circle, and we make sure that these two circles are concentric. In case you miss them in the beginning, you can add the constraint. Otherwise, you just add dimension. If you select them the right center point, all you need is this dimension 1.5. That should be fully defined. Finish the sketch. In this case, the hole goes all the way through, and we know that from the fact that they don't indicate the depth of the hole. In this case, we assume that hole is all the way through. That's the common practice. So the hole is all the way through, and we see our model is completed now.